Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special public board meeting of the 10th of October, 2024. I want to start us off in a good way by recognizing and acknowledging both the Esquimalt and Songhees nations on whose traditional territories we live, we learn, and we do our work together tonight. Trustees, may I have a mover to approve this evening's agenda? Thank you, Trustee Kwan, seconded by Trustee Mabobi. Any changes or amendments? All right, seeing none, all those in favor with a show of hands. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. We have one item under C1, under Secretary Treasurer's report in relation to Lansdowne Middle School North and disposal bylaws that we're going to consider this evening. I'm going to turn things over to the Secretary Treasurer to walk us through our agenda. Secretary Treasurer, whenever you're ready.
Great, thank you, Chair. So I'll start in the agenda package on page 3, which is where we have a memo that provides an overview of the disposal bylaw that the board will be reviewing this evening. The purpose of this meeting is really to provide an updated information related to the sale of 7.3 acres of land at Lansdowne Middle School North to CSF. The board approved the sale of land through a disposal bylaw in October 2021. At that time, we weren't that far ahead in the process, and now we are at conditional approval of the subdivision application by the District of Saanich. And as a result of that process, there are 3 road dedications and also 1 statutory right-of-way that are required by the District of Saanich in order to approve the subdivision package. And so I'll just go through each of the road dedications and also just identify where they are on the site plan. And then we can look at the SRW. So first of all, if you have your agenda package open, you could look at this Lansdowne site subdivision, which is on page 7. So you can see the site plan there, and then it has little things in different colors. So we'll just refer first of all to the road dedication that is on Lansdowne Road. So that's the one that is running across the top of the subdivision site plan. Now that road dedication is actually covered by a modification of a statutory right-of-way that already exists for a pedestrian pathway. And the work on this road has already been done. So they've already done sidewalk and bike lanes. So it's really just formalizing the dedication of this land to the municipality. The second road dedication is on Richmond Road. So down the right-hand side of the proposed site plan that you see there. This road dedication is in order to accommodate the widening of the road. So there will be a 3.3 meter vehicle lane, a 2 meter landscaped boulevard, a 2 meter bike lane, and a 2 meter separate sidewalk. So all of that will be added along Richmond Road. And the costs related to those works will be covered by the CSF project. The third road dedication is at the intersection of Lansdowne Road and Richmond Road. So if you are looking at the site plan, it's the corner top right that's in green. And that's a road dedication for a future right-hand turning lane. District of Saanich is unable to say exactly when that would happen, but it would be within the next 10 years. The right turn lane will be 5 meters wide, 60 meters long, and obviously would comply with the safety standards whenever it is built in the future. And so those are the 3 road dedications. And then we have 1 statutory right-of-way. And again, looking at this map, if you go straight down to the bottom from that right turning lane, you'll see a blue line that stretches from Richmond Road to Taylor Ave. So this is a statutory right-of-way that will be for a public pathway. It's a 2-meter wide asphalt walkway, and it will connect up to an existing pathway that intersects at 1766 and 1770 Taylor Ave. I'll just mention a couple of other items that aren't going to be part of the disposal bylaw, but are shown on this map and are part of the subdivision package. There is a surface drainage easement, so that is in sort of purple striped lines that are on the bottom left-hand side of that site plan. There's a statutory right-of-way that the municipality will be obtaining from CSF in order to access a storm drain. So lot 2 that you can see there will be the future CSF lot. And so the SRW for that will be on title with CSF's lot, so not anything that SD61 needs to address. However, the storm drainage system that we have on lot 1 crosses over into CSF lot 2 in order to connect to that storm drain. And so there is an easement that will be required between SD61 and CSF, which will not be dealt with the disposal bylaw. That's separate. And I'll mention the last item. Along the left-hand side of the site plan, you can see a blue line going down the left. That is a public pathway from Lansdowne Road to Myrtle Avenue. Also an SRW that the municipality will be seeking from CSF because it will be on the proposed CSF lot 2, not a disposal that the school district would need to deal with. I'll just mention that we have considered the ministerial order 193/08, which applies to disposal of land. That ministerial order does not apply to statutory rights of way. We have had several conversations with the ministry around road dedications, and they have confirmed that a road dedication, when there is no consideration being received from the municipality, does not require ministerial approval. We've also considered board policy and regulation 7110, disposal of real property. And it also does not apply to the SRW. We have done a full community consultation when the land sale was considered by the board in 2021. And regarding the disposal bylaw, we put a public notice on the district website and then posted it out on social media 2 weeks prior to this meeting with an opportunity for public to provide feedback. And we have received no feedback to date. So for the disposal bylaw, it is considered a disposal bylaw because the board is disposing of land in granting this to the District of Saanich. A disposal bylaw requires 3 readings, and included in the agenda package is the full bylaw. I believe it starts on page 16. It is several pages long, goes through to page 21, and it includes some of the plans. For the sake of brevity for the meeting, we have worked a special bylaw motion that can be read in exchange of the formal bylaw as long as the full bylaw is presented to the board. So included on the memo, you will see several motions for the board's consideration. The first one being second. First one being that essentially just that the board agrees that it approves the granting of the road dedications and the statutory right of way. That's a regular motion. And then the board would need to agree to 3 readings of the bylaw in this meeting in order to carry the bylaw this evening. If then it needs to be carried unanimously for the 3rd reading. If the 3rd reading is not carried unanimously, we can proceed with the 1st and 2nd reading. So I'll leave it at that. I don't know if you have any questions in regards to what's included in the agenda package, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Secretary Treasurer. I'm going to open the floor out to any questions that folks have in relation to the memo and the bylaw. Trustee Kwan, kick us off.
Yeah, I think a lot of this I probably have some background knowledge on, but just for the sake of being in public and in case there's questions out there, the first question I had was really around the bike lane that's kind of already done. That's showing on the map that along Lansdowne Road, there's a new sidewalk and bike lane there. And I just wondered, was that already, like, because it's done, I'm assuming that that was already approved and we did a bylaw reading for that portion already, but it's just showing on the map, or are we approving that with the work already done?
Secretary Treasurer, are you able to answer that question?
Basically, there is a statutory right-of-way that already exists with the pedestrian pathway. I'm not exactly sure when that happened. So what the board is approving now is the road it's converting that essentially into a road dedication. So it's formalizing, I guess, that work that's been done as part of the roadway, so that will become part of the municipality's responsibility.
Go ahead. Yeah, Trustee Kwan, continue.
And one more question as well. On that same map, we show lot 1, which is will remain with the school district 61, and then lot 2, which is the proposed lot for the new CSF build. And I just wondered, is that really, as far as registered titles and property, is it just lot 1 and lot 2, or do some of those actually make, like, do we have smaller parcels of land that make up those lots?
Secretary Treasurer.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Right now, the entire parcel is considered Lot A. So it is unique. It is one single lot. Yeah, a lot of our school properties are made up of multiple lots. So once the subdivision occurs, it will be exactly shown there. So the lot 1 will belong to our school district, and lot 2 would belong to CSF.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I had a question just around if you could share with us, Secretary Treasurer, what, if any, impacts on the remaining land? So our lot 1, if there are any impacts to the infrastructure there. So for instance, on the availability of parking, on any of the other infrastructure that the kids use, like basketball courts or anything like that. Anything like any impacts from the dedications and the right-of-ways?
Regarding the dedications and the right-of-way, I believe there will be some temporary impacts as a result of the road works along Richmond Road. Marnie may be able to jump in and get the precise details, but I don't think there is a loss of any parking. I think some parking will be moved. There's no impact. I think there's already sort of a pathway where the statutory right of way is, so it'll just be paved and then be maintained by the municipality. I don't believe that the future right-hand turning lane impacts anything like that. And the road works on, or the work on Lansdowne Road has already been done and there was no impact to the parking spaces there.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm going to turn to my colleagues and indeed our partners around the table. If you have any questions in relation to these items, please feel free. And Trustee Kwan, did you have another question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I did, although it just really kind of completely went out of my head. So I will probably leave it for now. And if it comes back to me, oh, actually, I do remember now. And I should have brought this up at the beginning when we did the agenda, but just in my head, I was thinking we do have, I believe, a question period after on the agenda. And I thought if there's any questions specifically related to this, if we could bring them up so that we're answering them before we do our vote.
Thank you, Trustee Kwan. Yeah, that's a very good point. Maybe I'll turn to staff just to confirm whether we have any questions, first of all, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, Superintendent.
Thank you. Through the chair, just monitoring the inbox right now, and there are no questions that have come in so far pertaining to this evening's agenda item.
Perfect. Thank you, Superintendent. Okay, so yeah, no, good point, Trustee Kwan. I'll have to remember that next time we're in this situation. We might want to consider putting question period up the agenda, but thanks. It doesn't sound like we have any questions at this point. So I think we're pretty in a good position to keep moving on with our bylaw readings. Trustees, and again, our partners around the table, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask pertaining to this before I look to trustees to move the bylaw and start our work? Yeah, Trustee Painter, go ahead.
Thanks, Chair. I just wonder the memo actually covers the elements we're discussing tonight in really good detail, but I think it's worth mentioning for anyone who might be watching that this is the supplemental elements that are part of the broader sale of land to CSF, the French language school district in BC. And that it's worth noting that although the previous board entered into this agreement, thereafter the Ministry of Education actually amended the School Act to enable the expropriation of land for this purpose. So in as much as this is a voluntary action on the district's part, and the district was able to negotiate fee for land, if we were to not move forward at this point in time, there's every reason to believe that the ministry would subsequently just expropriate the land from us and we would be left with a fait accompli. I note that the CSF is moving forward with court cases to take land or take schools and property in Vancouver and Abbotsford at the present time. So this is going on right across the province, and again reflects that it really would be great if we had a properly funded education system that could meet the needs of all of the people in BC. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Painter. Okay, yeah, I know, and thanks for highlighting the Secretary Treasurer's memo as it relates to what we're considering this evening. And yeah, these road dedications and statutory right-of-ways or easements were not, of course, known at the time that the board approved everything. And now that we have those details from the District of Saanich, we are going to be considering the disposal bylaw this evening as another means of being fully transparent with the public about where we are in the process of this particular land sale. So thank you again to the Secretary Treasurer for putting all of this together for us and explaining it to us this evening. Subject to any further questions or really from our partners, because trustees, you'll have an opportunity to have further discussion when we move the bylaw readings. But if the partners do have any questions, I will just create one more space for you to ask those before we get started. Okay. Okay, so trustees, I'm going to turn to you. We have a recommended motion. The first one is on our agenda, is that the Board of Education of School District number 61, Greater Victoria, approve granting to the District of Saanich 3 road dedications as shown on explanatory plan EPP 135794 in respect of the property legally described as parcel identifier 005-852-862, Lot A, Section 27, Victoria District, Plan 6679, and a statutory right-of-way over that part of the property legally described as Lot 1, Section 27, Victoria District, Plan EPP 135794, shown outlined in bold on Plan EPP 136016. So this is our first recommended motion. I'm going to look to my colleagues for a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Kwan, seconded by trustee Bayo. Any discussion, trustees? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of the recommended motion with a show of hands. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, so as the Secretary Treasurer explained a little earlier in our meeting, in order to proceed with all 3 readings this evening, we do need to look to a second recommended motion to consider that. So the second recommended motion this evening is that the Board of Education of School District number 61, Greater Victoria, agree to give all 3 readings of the Lansdowne Middle School North disposal, road dedications, and statutory right-of-way of real property bylaw 2502. Again, I'm going to be looking for a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Mabobi and seconded by trustee Bayo. So again, this is just to approve having all 3 readings of the bylaw this evening. Trustee Kwan, you had a question or a comment?
Yeah, a comment from me. I'm a little of 2 minds here. I am in favor of this, going through with this and approving, the whole subdivision, as well as, creating space for our Francophone district. Having said that, the fact that we didn't have any public questions or any feedback makes me think, I wonder if we just need to slow things down and maybe do the readings over 2 days. But I just wondered what the thoughts were out there, what my colleagues think, perhaps even staff. And I just kind of wanted to put it out there. I don't know, but I just wondered if anyone had any kind of comments towards that.
Thank you, trustee Kwan. So I guess it's really a 2-part question. One being, is there, what do folks think about breaking this out a little bit into 2 different potential meetings, or potentially the meeting and then maybe another procedural option for doing a 3rd reading of the bylaw? I think I'll turn to our staff first to get a sense of sort of what the timelines are here and what the pros and cons of doing so would be.
I'm happy to jump in with my perspective. I think it depends on what you would propose for the 3rd reading. If we're talking about a poll vote, that would occur to give, I think you said, over a couple of days. I don't think that's a huge issue. If we're talking about delaying it beyond October 31st, that would be an issue based on deadlines within purchase and sale agreement. As to public feedback, it has been up on the district website for 2 weeks. And it's also one of those things where it's a requirement of the municipality as part of a subdivision application. So there isn't really a lot of room for movement in what these are. So I'm not sure if the public are interested or if they understand that, if they suggest a smaller right of way, that it's probably not gonna make a difference as to what is required by the municipality. That's some of my thoughts.
Thank you very much, Secretary Treasurer. You know, I appreciate that. Some great points for us to be thinking through. So I'm going to bring us back to, again, the recommended motion with that in mind and subject to further discussion that colleagues want to have about this. Again, we're just looking at the question of whether we do all 3 readings of the bylaw this evening. Okay. If everybody's ready, then I'm going to call the question and call us to a vote. All those in favor of doing all 3 readings this evening with a show of hands? And that is unanimous. Thank you, trustees. I'm going to move us on then to our next set of recommended motions. First, that the Board of Education of School District number 61, Greater Victoria, Lansdowne Middle School North disposal, road dedications and statutory right-of-way of real property bylaw 25-02, being a bylaw to grant the following road dedications and statutory right-of-way to the District of Saanich. 1, 3, road dedications as shown on explanatory plan EPP 135794 in respect of the property legally described as parcel identifier 005-852-862 Lot A, Section 27, Victoria District Plan 6679. 2, statutory right-of-way over the part of the property legally described as Lot 1, Section 27, Victoria District, Plan EPP 135794, shown outlined in bold on the plan EPP 136016, read a first time this 10th day of October 2024, and that the Secretary Treasurer and the Board Chair be authorized to execute and seal this bylaw on behalf of the Board. May I have a mover? Trustee Kwan, and seconded by Trustee Mabobi. All right, any discussion? And again, just want to clarify that if our partners, before I go to trustees, do have any thoughts or anything they wish to share in relation to the first reading, then please feel free to let me know. Okay, trustees, do you have any thoughts, questions, comments that you would like to make before I call the question? Okay, all right, all those in favor with a show of hands. And that is unanimous. All right, thank you very much. I'm going to move us on to our second reading, that the Board of Education of School District number 61, Greater Victoria, Lansdowne Middle School North disposal, road dedications and statutory right-of-way of real property bylaw 25-02, being a bylaw to grant the following road dedications and statutory right-of-way to the District of Saanich. 1, 3 road dedications as shown on explanatory plan EPP 135794 in respect of the property legally described as parcel identifier 005-852-862 Lot A, Section 27, Victoria District, Plan 6679. 2, statutory right-of-way over the part of the property legally described as Lot 1, Section 27, Victoria District, Plan EPP 135794, shown outlined in bold on Plan EPP 136016. Read a second time this 10th day of October 2024, and that the Secretary Treasurer and the Board Chair be authorized to execute and seal this bylaw on behalf of the Board. Okay, trustees, again, I'm going to turn to you. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Mabobi, and the seconder. And seconded by Trustee Abayo. Thank you very much. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of second reading with a show of hands. That's unanimous. All right, so now we're going to move into our third and final reading, that the Board of Education of School District Number 61, Greater Victoria, Lansdowne Middle School North disposal, road dedications and statutory right-of-way of real property bylaw 25-02, being a bylaw to grant the following road dedications and statutory right-of-way to the District of Saanich. 1. 3 road dedications as shown on explanatory plan EPP 135794 in respect of the property legally described as parcel identifier 005-852-862, Lot A, Section 27, Victoria District, Plan 6679. 2. Statutory right-of-way over that part of the parcel of the property legally described as Lot 1, Section 27, Victoria District, Plan EPP 135794, shown outlined in bold on Plan EPP 136016, read a third time, passed and adopted this 10th day of October 2024, and that the Secretary Treasurer and the Board Chair be authorized to execute and seal this bylaw on behalf of the board. All right, trustees, I'm looking for a mover, please. Thank you, Trustee Bio, seconded by Trustee Mabobi. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the third and final reading? And that is unanimous. Thank you again, trustees, much appreciated. We do again have question period on our agenda under D. Superintendent, I just wanted to check in one more time to see if there's anything that's come in.
Thank you, Chair. No, nothing has come in.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and so that leads us to public disclosure of in-camera items. I don't believe we have any, but I'll just turn to the Secretary Treasurer to confirm. Thank you. Any new business, trustees, or notice of motions? Okay, seeing none, that brings us to G, adjournment. There's a recommended motion. I will turn again to my colleagues for a mover and a seconder. Thank you, Trustee Bio, seconded by Trustee Mabobi. All those in favor of adjournment? Thank you, that's unanimous. All right, everybody, thanks so much to our staff for all the hard work to get us here, and thanks everybody for joining us. Good night.